So now it is my pleasure to introduce one of Nantucket's favorite sons, a man who brings so much love and creativity and attention to Nantucket. Please join me in welcoming our MC tonight, John Shea.
Thank you, Joe. Hail, hail, the gang's all here. We're sold out, okay? Sold out. This is our fourth annual Nantucket Short Film Festival. And for those of you who wore shorts, no, it's the movies are shorts. You don't have to, there's no dress code, okay? We have so many volunteers here tonight. Can we put it together for the volunteers, okay? Yes, thank you. Nothing happens without sponsorship, okay? So let's give a hand for Lee Real Estate. Jeff and Susan, they're the big honchos who made this happen. You know, if you have a home, you want to sell it. If you want to buy a home, go down to South Water Street. Jeff is awesome. His wife's a photographer. You can buy art for your home while you buy the house. September Productions is also one of the sponsors. That's Danny Driscoll. Dan Driscoll, we love him. He's got another film in here. I think he won last year, or he should have. So you'll see his film. Nantucket Films is Kit Noble. Kit, you're here. I know you're a noble son of a... There you are, brother, and you came all the way back for this. Kit, you're shooting something around the world. What are you doing, man? You'll tell us later. Make a film about it, okay? Moore Studios, M-O-O-R Studios, is the new name for Marty and Lance Kelly. We love them. You know, they're big supporters. Gene Mann, the man about town. Oh, yeah, he's here. We love him. We love him. Dune Restaurant and Bar, Michael Getter, the go-getter himself. Mind's Eye Communication is Arlene O'Reilly. She kicked in. Thank you, Arlene. The Cheney Brothers, building and remodeling. You know, what can't they do? They can do anything and include to help support this. Thank you, guys. The Dreamland, that's Joe Hell and the board and everybody that makes this happen here. And then, of course, there's NCTV Channel 18. That's Lisa Fry Getter. She is the real go-getter, all right? This woman, I don't know, what would we do without Lisa? So you're going to find out that a lot of these films are inspired by work that they do at Channel 18. With her team, with Mark and Andrew and all the guys over there and women, you're going to see that if you want to make a film on Nantucket, you can make a film on Nantucket. The rules for this film festival are really simple. You got to shoot it on Nantucket. It's got to be about Nantucket, okay? So look, you have an iPhone. I got an iPhone. I had an iPhone. You can shoot it on that. You can edit it on that. But if you don't want to do that, you can go over to 18. You can go over, South Beach. You can go over and get equipment from them. You can take a class from Andrew Comarty, like a lot of people do and have done just recently and will continue to do this fall. You can learn how to write a film, how to shoot a film, and how to edit a film in a couple of weeks. So if you have an idea for a film, John, I know you got one. I know you got one, brother. Cough it up. I know it's a hairball, a creative hairball that's waiting to emerge and get up on this screen, so come on now. And you can learn how to cough that hairball up over at 18. I'm telling you, it's awesome. We have anybody, first-timers. We have guys as young as 11 and as old as, like 111 over there. So don't be shy. So here's what we're going to do. You've got ballots, right? So we're going to watch the films. During the films, if there's something that you really like, make a mark next to it or make a little note, because there's 12 films, 12. It's going to be about an hour. And then, it's sometimes easy to forget what you saw first. So make a little note while it's going on. And then when the films are over, the last film, you're going to vote because this is a People's Choice Award. Joe, by the way, we used to have a kind of Nantucket Idol over at the Unitarian Church years ago. Nantucket's Got Talent. It's going to be awesome, That's going to be fun. But vote for that film, your favorite film. This is a People's Choice Award. Okay? So check off that box. Then you're going to hand your ballots to pass them down to the end. There's going to be the team of volunteers who are going to pick up the ballots. They're going to go up there, and they're going to count them like crazy. And while they're counting them, we're going to have all of the 12 filmmakers up here on the stage. I'm going to do a little Q&A with them. We're going to have fun. Okay? So let's go. Let's rock. Let's reel. Nantucket Short Film Festival, take 4.
This This film was done for my 75th birthday as a celebration of the many years that led up to 70, using photographs and a little story about my love of Nantucket, my sense of place in Nantucket, and the iconic images that I've created over the years to help me tell the story.
And what was some of the inspiration behind the film?
The inspiration was, of course, the celebration of my 75th, and I was in the midst of doing a much more serious film than it turned out to be, until my husband came along, David Billings, with The Horn. I was definitely taken off guard, and then we thought it was just too good to waste, and so it became a little bit more of a comedy than it was a serious autobiography. It ends with a quote that says, "My life is my message," and I was trying to get a story in 10 minutes about my life.
Will you tell us a little bit about the prop you brought with you today?
Yes, this is my leaping lady. She came into my life from an image that I took of a young woman jumping over the grass and the weeds out on Hither Creek, and she just jumped into my life and has been there ever since. So she walks around the labyrinth with me, and she's one of my third and probably my most famous images, aside from the foggy road and the seagull.
And lastly, do you have any future projects in the
Oh,
works?
I do. I've got a very good one. And I was told the humor really does sell a lot better sometimes than a serious film. And I don't know if I want to give it away yet, but I have some ideas, and more than one actually. And how many will get done over the winter, or waiting till spring, or till the last push in October to get it in or September for the festival. But I'll give you a hint. It has to do with cooking.
Fantastic. Well, we're
Because my
looking forward
husband
to
happens to be a creative chef, and sometimes he gets a little too creative and a little outrageous in the kitchen. So that's the hint. Here I am standing in my mini labyrinth on my property in Nantucket, in Nantucket, because a labyrinth has been a theme of my life for many, many years. And I'm even wearing the outfit I wore when I talked about my photography as being a path of the heart. And it's this labyrinth of art that's been my theme, finding those images which define the essence of who we are, where we're going, where we've been, and who we're traveling with. It's a pilgrimage, and it reminds me, as I'm looking over here at my Tory, to be here and now, as I'm walking, to be here now, or as I put it, to be her now. Beverly Hall. Is that a person or a place? I was once asked that by a little girl who was coming to my art school. And her mother told me the story that she was very confused whether Beverly Hall was a place she was going to or a person she was going to see. Well, I'm both. I am Beverly Hall, and Nantucket is my place. These are the 3 images upon which my heart first opened. I never knew I had them as a photographer. These were a gift to me. A gift from the great camera in the sky, you might say. The first one was this foggy road image. This was taken in 1967. It's the path that leads to anywhere, to nowhere. It's the path that tells us where we've been, possibly where we might be going, but it's still a bit of a mystery. What lies beyond? And this, the picture of the seagull, which has a lot of history because it's an iconic image of the Old South Wharf. The Old South Wharf behind it, and the gallery that I used to use as a studio, and behind that, the children's gallery where I taught art classes. The seagull, the road, and voila, La Leaping Lady, my logo. It has been said that the longest journey begins with the first step. Well, on my journey, I have taken quite a few steps with this lady and with other travelers. But I never expected to take the biggest step for the third time, when my heart was opened by a man named David Billings, Chinese art collector and fellow traveler in the labyrinth. Take it away, David.
No, it's not. Forget it. Okay, let's do this before any cars come by.
Okay,
Because
what are we
I
gonna
am
do?
disappearing.
They say birthdays are good for you. Statistics show that people who have them live a lot longer. Well, let me tell you the story about my secret to aging well. David's taken 10 years off my life. And for his Christmas present, it was sort of like the, whatever story, when she cuts her hair and he sells his watch and she buys him a watch band and he buys her a brush. Okay, I went to the website to get the right numbers for our license plate. And I couldn't figure out which ones to do, but it turned out that 41 and 47 were left, so it was perfect. I'm 41, that's my birth year, and David over here is 47. Now, you can tell by the math that this time I got it right. Instead of robbing the grave, I robbed the cradle. David has now made me 65 years, 10 years younger. And sometimes a little bit older, depending upon the situation. In order to celebrate this momentous occasion, would you stand by your car, please, and everybody can know who's his and her car, and we can hold hands together. This is the man that keeps me young. Happy 65.
Tryouts for the Beverly Hall's soon-to-be Symbol Leaping Girl logo have been ongoing now for 72 hours. Ms. Hall, a perfectionist behind the camera, who is this figment of our adoration, our envy? What do we really know about the person, not just a professional guise? What happens if the camera is turned on her?
Well, I'm here standing before my church, the chapel, the Birdhouse Chapel that was given to me for my 60th birthday at seminary. And my friend Tommaso from Apollo's father from Weston Jesuit organized a circle dance as the cathedral, or I'm jumping a little bit, as my chapel was presented to me.
Step together, get.
This was the chapel that was presented to me, and it's still here in my garden to remind me of those heady and wonderful theological days at seminary. And just to prove that I can still hang on to the clothes that I wore, this reminds me of love, loss, and what I wore. I wore this dress, which I picked up at a thrift shop in Cambridge, and I can no longer get into it. But it's a beauty, and it sparkles, and if the diet that I'm on works, it just may be good enough for another dance for my 80th. Saks Fifth Avenue. Size 8. My favorite number, but not in dress sizes. Size 8. David.
I expect an Academy Award for this.
Well done, David. You never know who you're going to meet at the labyrinth. Whitney Berg, retired clergy. You never know who you're going to meet at the labyrinth.
Well, you can rock it, you can roll it, do the slop and even stroll it at the hop. When the record starts spinning, you your lips when you're chicken at the hop. Do the dance sensations that are sweeping the nation at the hop. Let's go to the hop. Let's go to the hop. Oh baby, let's go to the hop. Oh baby, let's go to the hop. Let's go to the hop.
Why, I quite agree. Don't you?
Okay, I'm here with Nathan Palmer, who created the film Setting Sail about the Lynx. Beautiful ship.
It is a beautiful ship. It was a beautiful day for filming, and so I just got some nice footage of it.
Right. I followed a lot of your work because it's Take Flight Cinema, and I see it a lot on Facebook and other places. Really amazing stuff. Drone footage.
Yes, yeah, it is. And actually, I was about to put this online, and when I edited it, I was like, you know what, this is actually a little bit of a storytelling video. So I was like, let me enter it into the short film festival.
Sure.
I'd struggled with trying to do one for a couple of years, doing a screenwrite and all that, and I'm not that kind of person. I just do aerial video.
Right.
So this was something that I felt comfortable enough to say, hey, it has a little bit of storytelling to it, and so that's what I would like to enter.
Yeah. Typically, you're set to music, some of your work. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah. I use very little voice or any type of dialogue in most of my clips. So it's kind of hard to tell a story strictly from the air.
Right.
But the soundtrack kind of matched that, kind of did a way to tell the story. And one of the things that I've been seeing over the summer was the people up in the riggings undoing and doing the sails and everything. I always thought that would be a great perspective for anyone to be able to see, other than the people that work on the boat and see it. And so when I had a beautiful day and saw them out there doing that, I utilized that opportunity. And then later they said they're going to sail about an hour later, so I got some footage of them under sail. And ended up being something that made into a nice little short clip.
Sure. Did you get a chance to get aboard by any chance?
I wrote on it a couple years ago when they hosted the visit through the boat basin. So I've had both opportunities of that aspect.
Yeah, it's pretty magical. I had the opportunity when I worked for the Nantucket Historical Association, and I didn't really think much of it because I get opportunities living here. And when I got aboard, there's really something magical about that ship.
It certainly is. And it was seen in a John Shea film, so it even has a little bit more of an island connection.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
How did you get into this drone footage business?
I love aviation. About 5 years ago, when the first one started coming out, I showed high interest, and the passion grew from there. It allowed me to enjoy aviation, and with that brought the aspect of being able to capture film, and that brought in a whole new realm of then what to do with the film, how to tell stories, how to edit, how to do color processing, and it just kind of built on itself.
Right.
So.
You had an opportunity to work with the local station.
I've done a lot of different things. I've shot for 3 different movies that have been shot here, some documentaries, Last year I was able to acquire a commercial license when they first offered it to the FAA. So now I'm commercial with it. And so yeah, there's been a lot of great opportunities from small projects to some feature films.
Do you think the FAA is going to lock down on some of this stuff, or how do you think that's going to, now that you have your license, thank heavens?
Right? Yeah. No, I think they're all supportive of it. It's a source of aviation, and it's a great industry.
Yeah.
So I think when we first got into it, I always felt like that was the barnstorming days of back in aviation, before FAA created structures.
Yeah.
Now we're kind of seeing that, and the next step is going to be even more so. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that, because I've thoroughly enjoyed your work, and I so look forward to seeing this film today, knowing the links as minutely as I do. It's going to be a real treat. So I'm going to ask you to head on up to the red carpet, and I'll look forward to talking with you later.
Thank you very much. Great talking to you there.
So, my name is Isaiah Williams, and my film was Capricio Español, the animated one. And it's about the King of Spain being swindled into an unnecessary project. That's like the official synopsis. But it's based around part of Capricio Español by Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov. It's a classical music piece. And I got the idea to make the film when, after listening to it, I listened to it several times, more than several, many times over and over again, over like a 4-month period. and every time I would listen to it, I try to imagine what I would picture the story being. And so I did that until I could run through a coherent story in my mind every time I listened to it. And then I just went along from there in the animation process.
And tell us about the time frame.
I started listening to it and coming up with the story like 3 months before I started animating. And then the animation process took a while because I had the bones of a skeleton of a story in my head, but I had to think of what every camera shot and every scene would be. So I would listen to each 30-second segment of it at one at a time and write down or draw the storyboard of what I was picturing in my mind, but I'd have to decide specifically where the camera would go and what this person would do, and I would do that for every little musical phrase in it. And after I finished that, then all the storyboards were compiled in a pile about that thick. And then the animation process was just drawing the many, many pictures. The animation was actually the easiest part of making this film. Most time-consuming, but easiest mentally.
So how many pictures did you take?
I should really find that out.
I know, you said that at the
everyone
festival.
Always wants to know.
Can you not, is it not all lined up in the folder?
I'm sure I could find out in
Yeah,
the folder.
that's all right, that's fine. But
I
just,
really
I'm always
liked-
curious.
I'd really like to be able to tell you.
Yeah, okay. So I think that's pretty good. Anything else?
What's he going to do in the future?
What about your next short film? Have you got one in mind?
Yes, well, I have the piece of music in mind. I'm going to do another music-based one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be based on another Rimsky-Korsakov piece, the Song of India. Ooh. Yeah.
All right, I'm here with Kit Noble, and he did a film for our festival called Chasing Shadows, where have you been chasing Chip Webster around?
Yes, followed him down to South Carolina on August 21st for the big, what do they call it, the Great American Eclipse.
Great American Eclipse.
So that's just a fraction of what the film's about. He's been to over 13 solar eclipses in his life.
Wow.
So he's an enthusiast and a chaser.
I witnessed it on Nantucket, and I have to say, even though I didn't get to see the total, I'm sorry, but I did. I mean, it was an amazing day. It really was.
Yeah.
I mean, even the president looked up.
Yes, I was blown away. I kind of knew what to expect. I hadn't seen one before,
Yeah.
but when it's happening, it is the weirdest, coolest, biggest thing you've ever seen. Wow. Yeah.
So what a treat that you got to actually go down, and it was quite a...
The conflict was it was a 4-day festival, which I wanted to partake in. So I wasn't in my best form in terms of making films, but I did all right.
Maybe you were in your better form from it.
This might start something new.
Yeah.
Right? I'll shoot all my films.
It was like a 4-day party. You were camping and making food on the land and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Correct?
Being hungover. Yeah. No sleep. It's great.
All right. Well, that sounds great. But so how did he get into that? Do you know? I mean, what prompted him?
A friend of his, he'll tell us a little bit of that story in the film, but a friend of his, I don't know, 20 some odd years ago, just called him up and said, hey, let's go to the total eclipse down in Baja, Mexico.
Yeah.
And they rented a school bus and they all jumped in it and they drove down. So.
And he's been all over the world. Like, this is literally something.
If he goes to Antarctica in 2024, he'll be one of 3 people in the world that has been to all 7 continents to see a total eclipse. So I feel like we just scratched the surface with this particular film.
Yeah.
So I think I'll probably do some sort of a follow-up with him. So.
That's great. Now, of course, you're a photographer, and what other projects are you working on these days?
Right now I'm traveling the world with a family. I'm actually just came in today for this, but we're going to travel basically all the way around the world. They've got 2 kids, 11 and 14, and they took them out of school for the year. So they're being world schooled, as we call it. And we leave for Tahiti in a week, and then on to Vietnam and New Zealand and Australia and India. It's gonna be great. It's a big project.
So if you're not familiar with Kit's work, what's the best way to get a glimpse of some of the images that you captured?
KitNoble.com, KITNOBLE.com, and I also have a Vimeo page, which you can link to from there.
Okay.
A lot of my film work is on there.
Yeah, great. Really beautiful stuff. I'm thrilled that you're here. Thank you for coming in for this. And I guess you're off to the red carpet.
Yes, that's where we're headed. Maybe find some seats.
Yeah,
Thank
great.
you.
All right.
I saw my first solar eclipse in 1991. A high school friend of mine named Paul called me up. I was in Boston at the time, and he said, there's a solar eclipse in Mexico, and we have to go. We started spreading the word, and before we knew it, there were 14 of us who traveled all the way to the tip of Baja, Mexico for this outstanding solar eclipse. And we purchased an old school bus, and we used that bus to drive to the tip of Baja, but by way of Canada. So we traveled up the east coast of the US and then the full length of Canada and then down the west coast of the US down to the tip of Baja for the eclipse, and then we made our way back up to San Francisco through Colorado and then ultimately back to Mississippi. It was a 12,000 mile road trip. We had 24 breakdowns. We were about a week behind where we thought we would be. We only had a few days left to get to the eclipse from San Francisco. So there was a lot of apprehension and tension as to whether or not we would make it. And we literally made it to the center line of the eclipse the evening before. The morning of the eclipse, We sat there and looked, and the first person who saw it yelled, and we all celebrated, and we slowly, over the course of the next hour, watched as the shadow slid across the face of the sun. Off on the horizon, there's a wall of darkness that spreads as far north and south as you can see, and that wall is coming at you at 1,000 miles an hour, and that everything beneath that wall of darkness is like a giant paintbrush being painted black. The surface of the earth disappears, and then instantly that wall interfaces with you, and it's like the lights are off. You can turn around and you can see that wall disappearing off to the east as all of the light of the day is sucked into a little hole, and then suddenly everything is black. It turned out that the spot that we chose, it was our first one, ended up being perfect. After my first eclipse, I decided that I would go to virtually every single eclipse that I could. The eclipse in Easter Island, virtually the entire path was over the ocean. The only landmass that went over was Easter Island. Frequently, there are big celebrations for eclipses, and someone will organize a big festival. Sometimes it's a music festival and so forth in celebration of it that will usually happen several days before or even after the eclipse. This festival that had been planned for 15,000 people ended up only having about 150 people that actually made it all the way there. When we got there, nothing had been set up. So the 150 people that got there had to get together, clear the space, make camping areas, build a stage for the music, build a kitchen for kitchen facilities, build bathhouses for bathhouses, and everyone worked nonstop for about 3 days building this community, and everyone became super close from this experience. About 2 days before the eclipse, we're at a local cantina eating dinner, and the chef comes out and he says, "I've got bad news for you. There's a monsoon coming in, and it's coming in tonight, and it's going to be here for 4 days." And then literally a couple hours before the eclipse, the rains stopped, the clouds parted, a double rainbow came out, the eclipse, which was spectacular, happened, followed by another double rainbow, and then the clouds closed back up and 2 more days of monsoon continued. And the individuals who were at that eclipse, because the experience was so powerful, have kept in touch with each other ever since. The eclipse chaser's nemesis is the cloud. So once one has determined the time of the eclipse, the next step is to look at the path and then choose a location somewhere along that path. And arguably the next most important thing is to choose a place along that path that is likely to have clear skies. And then after you've done that, and if there's still a few places to pick, then you might pick a place based on its cultural interest, because you may be there a little time before the eclipse and a little time after the eclipse. On March 20th in 2015, many people traveled from Europe and all over the world to the Faroe Islands to see the eclipse. So we wake up the morning of the eclipse and it is pouring rain. I would say it was probably 20 minutes before the eclipse, a little hole in the sky happens and a beam of sunlight shoots and hits a spit of land that's off in the distance. And then it closes back up. And then you hear yelling and screaming in 5 different languages, cursing this cloud, yelling, and all of a sudden it moves just at the moment of totality, and we experience the full totality, and then the clouds come back. That was pretty amazing. One of the things that I find most interesting about the eclipse is the effect that it has on the people that experience it. And I sort of divide the people that go to eclipses into 4 different categories. One category, I would say, is the scientific community. There are qualities of the sun that can only be studied during an eclipse. The second group of people are the spiritual community. And those are the people that come to witness the experience of the solar eclipse. The third group of people are the people that live there, the local people that the eclipse is coming to. And the fourth group of people are the people that are just there because they're traveling and they don't even know about it. They just happen to be at the right place at the right time. So the thing that I really enjoy, in addition to the spiritual qualities of the eclipse itself, are seeing how these 4 different groups of people interact with each other. On August 21st, 2017, there is a total solar eclipse that goes across the U.S. And there has been a lot of excitement about this eclipse because it's the first eclipse that's viewable from the continental U.S. since 1979. This eclipse goes literally from the west coast of Oregon across the entire width of the United States and exits over the Atlantic coast in South Carolina. So a little over 20 years ago, a bunch of my friends from high school and college purchased a piece of property in South Carolina. When we purchased the property, we had no idea that it would be on the path of the eclipse. And we found out several years later that it was, and we have been planning for many years a celebration on this property. We are inviting friends and friends of friends. There'll be about 400 people there, and we are making it into a 4-day music festival in celebration of the eclipse. There is a creek that runs through the middle of the property that has a waterfall that comes into a cove that goes into a large lake that the property borders, and the eclipse is going to line right up with that cove. First eclipse that I went to in Baja, Mexico, we ended up on a stretch of beach where there was only one other vehicle. And the other vehicle was a Nissan Pathfinder that had 2 engineers in it from San Francisco. So we ended up making friends with them, and one of them, whose name is Art, ended up becoming very close friends with us. Separately from that, there is a large group of individuals from the Atlanta area that have a community that's very strong, and they have an annual gathering that they have on our property. And one of the women in that group is Stacy. And Stacy and Art are getting married at this solar eclipse. So it's, in addition to the obvious celebration of the 2 of them marrying each other, it is symbolic almost of the marriage of these 2 different communities. So the fact that he was introduced to us with Eclipse and Stacy is from this other group and they're coming together is bigger than just the 2 of them. It's symbolic of these 2 groups and was born arguably of an eclipse itself.
Sun, I am the moon. You rise each day from dawn till noon. You spring the seeds, light the deeds, hold the hands of time. You are the sun.
I'm here with Melissa McLeod, and she has one of the films in our 4th annual Nantucket Shorts Festival, known as The Painting. Okay, tell me a little bit about it.
Well, it's a very short film, under 3 minutes, and it captures a group of painters that I've been friends with, and we've been a group together for years, and every year we create a collaborative painting together. So I did a time lapse over the course of a few hours of us creating this collaborative painting. So it's a this great group of artists. We call ourselves Slant, and I've known most of them for over 20 years, and we always have fun at our Christmas party. So this is one of our Christmas party events, making a painting.
Fun. That sounds great.
Yeah, it's really fun. I thought it would be nice to capture it on film. And, you know, I'd never made a film before, but I've loved short films, and I love, you know, it was a challenge, the creative process, because technology is in general not my thing, but yeah, it was really fun.
So did you do all the editing?
I did. And I taught myself iMovie, basically. So it was kind of basic, but I was able to add the music and edit and, you know, like learn a few tricks. But, you know, the next one I'd like to be a little more sophisticated with. But, yeah, I'm happy with it.
Now, you come from a pretty creative family. Your son is involved in the festival,
Yes, he
and of course your husband John Shea has done a little bit of film in his day.
Yes, he has. This is just like the world premiere of Grey Lady.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah. Well, I so look forward to your film,
Okay,
and I'm
thank you.
so pleased that you were able to participate
Yeah, me
and be
too.
part of this.
Yeah,
This
I'm
is
excited.
exciting.
It's really fun.
Because I want to encourage, you know, people our age, shall we say, to get out there and do this.
Yeah, well, it's great. And all these people just creating these films, and to get to see it on this huge screen in this great theater, it's going to be really fun.
Very good. Well, congratulations. Head on up to the red carpet. It's your day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway, looking for adventure. And whatever comes our way, yeah, darling, go make it happen. Take the world in a loving embrace. Fire all of the guns at once and explode into space. I like smoking lightning, heavy metal thunder, racing with the wind, and the feeling that I'm under. Yeah, darling, go make it happen. Take the world in a loving embrace. Fire all of the guns at once and explode into space. Like a true.
I'm here with Beth Weldon, who produced the film Removing Bees with Jimmy.
That's right.
And you have worked with this man before.
I've worked with Jim Gross for many years. He helped me set up bees when I was a beekeeper. And I've gone on several removals with him. And just he's been a friend for over 30 years, so I've known him for a long time. We did a movie with him last year for this festival It was just called Talking Bees with Jim. So he wanted to do another one, and we thought this would be a good topic, so you can actually see him removing bees that a swarm gets kind of stuck in a house or a place where they shouldn't be. Yeah.
Gotcha. And I was just talking to a friend out in Ohio, and they were talking about how to exterminate the bees.
Oh, no. That's why Jim removes them, because bees are so precious to our food chain, especially now, that removing them from a situation where they could be exterminated or in danger is a really wonderful thing to be able to do for conservation purposes. Yeah, so he does that. He probably does, I don't know how many every year, but probably well into like 15 or 20 a year.
Yeah, that's great. Without giving away the ending of your film, where do the bees go?
Well, they go in several places. People who want bees are able to get them from him, but he has about 35 hives at his own home, so they all find good homes.
Right.
That's for sure.
Right. Yeah. And Jim produces honey.
And Jim produces lots of wonderful ambrosia. I call it ambrosia. It's the best honey I've ever had, actually, and he's really, really good at extracting it. Yeah, really, really good guy.
Well, obviously bees are really important. I wish everyone understood the importance of them, and it's an important film because of that. So thank you for doing that.
Sure. Well, thanks, Susan. I appreciate the questions.
Very good. All right, I look forward to seeing it. All right, off to the red carpet, my dear.
It's an old shed. So if you go outside, you can see the whole outside, and you can see them coming in. These people have owned the house for like a year, and they're renting it. And they called me about it because the caretaker, I guess, saw bees coming in and out. She is vacuuming up the bees. We're taking them off because they come out, because now it's exposed, they come out and they go to the light. And they go up to the skylights. So you suck in the bees, and this thing is a vortex machine. The bees come in here, they spin around in circles, and they fall out in the bottom. And there's a vortex created, so none of them get sucked. This goes to the vacuum cleaner. None of them get sucked back out. And we're always looking for the queen. I'll tie this into frames with all the eggs and the larvae and the baby bees in there, and I'll put this back into the hive that I dumped them back into. Because this is my next set of bees coming out.
You have 13 now?
I have 25.
Oh my God.
Like years ago, I started with 2 hives. And you start with 2 so you can compare the one to the other. And then I got up to 6 hives by expanding over the years. And then Laura was up there one day, and she says, you know, it looks like there's more than 6 hives up there. And I said, no, there's only 6. And she said, come on, let's go. So we went up there, and I said, you see, there's 1, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, and 6. There's only 6. She was like, that is not funny. Every third bite of food that you eat has been pollinated by a honeybee. And if all the honeybees go away, we're going to be eating gruel. There won't be any more fruit, apples, pears, strawberries, raspberries, peaches, plums, all that stuff. Not oranges. Oranges don't need to be pollinated. They're self-pollinating. But people put bees in the oranges to get the orange nectar, make orange honey. Without all the pollination, I mean, in canola and alfalfa, big crops, melons, pumpkins, the curbits, all that stuff would be gone. It would not be pretty. And it's all very fragile. It's all brand new.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yow! Hold on. I'm just checking for the queen here. So here's the sealed brood, here's the larva, the white stuff. And then there's nectar around the edges, which is not made into honey yet. They have to dry it out. This is a larva, and it's the purple-eyed pupae stage. See, those are the eyes they're developing. A knife. Custom made. Venus used to call us the elegant house wreckers. The unveiling. So what I'm doing here is just checking for the queen, because these guys are all captured already. And she might have a yellow dot on her, which is this year's color. Because I brought in 140 packages of bees, and a package starts a new hive. It has 10,000 bees in it, about 3 pounds, and 1 queen. And we marked them on their thorax. You have the 3 pieces, the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. And then I know another guy brought in another 50. So there are at least, we brought in at least 200 packages, 200 new hives. And this year's color is yellow. So if this swarmed out of somebody's kept hive, or it might be an old hive, if you get stung, don't drop it. I had a call today from one of the pesticide guys about another removal on Main Street. I'm going to go look at. I've got another one out in Nantucket Road next week. I got another one on Vestal Lane. I got 3 on Westchester Extension. They're like all over the place. This is the old cap brood that was laid first, and they are hatching out. And here's the larva filling in the empty spaces. And if you look on the outside edge, you'll see some eggs, little white threads. And out here is the new stuff. This is younger than this. See how dark it is? Yeah. So these guys are just about to hatch out. Isn't this amazing?
Yeah.
You ever film anything like this before? This is like too much fun. Comb is 6-sided, so each angle is 60 degrees. So if you look in there, I don't know if you can see it, in the bottom you see a Mercedes symbol, a little 3-legged symbol, because the comb on this side, this is built at 13 degrees up, so the nectar doesn't run out. So if you look through, you'll see that Mercedes symbol because they build the cells, they offset them by 1/3, so it's round on this side and round on this side, because they're so efficient. That's how they build all their cells. And this is all just wild, this is all pure beeswax. I try to take these out as big as possible, these pieces, so we can tie them back into the combs. You learn something new every day about bees, how they build and what they do. So what you do, if you find the queen, you set this over her, stick your finger on there and she'll crawl up inside. Stick that in there. There. Now you can do whatever you want to with her. That big old Italian queen. Got a big fat bud on her. It's a beautiful thing. There's a worker next to her. There. Now she's in. Because if the queen dies, then the hive will die unless they have young eggs. So they can produce another one. All the way into here. Hey-ya. Ooh, the big mama.
This is so cool.
Mm-hmm. There's a bee on there. And this is full of nectar.
That's so nice.
And a little bit of capped honey. You can eat some nectar. if you take and shake them, and the nectar doesn't come out on the floor, then you can eat it. Then it's dry enough. Pretty delicious. If you get it any fresher than that, you're going to get slapped.
Hey guys, I'm here with Doug Cody. You might recognize him from some of the Buckle and Shake and other bands around the island.
True.
Today, he's a filmmaker. He made a film called Life 180.
Yes, I did. It's my premiere, my attempt at documentary film. Never done it before. Just dove in heads first, and I was actually inspired by this video I saw this kid make on YouTube.
He's got the best.
So I made it out of just as a pure test to see if I could test myself. Could I do those Wes Anderson shots, and could I push this thing together that felt like had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and there was a through line through it. So we'll see. I don't know. It's my first attempt doing it, but I don't know. It's a very cathartic process.
That's wonderful. How did you come up with the idea for the film, or do you have 1,000 ideas? You're an artist, so you probably have several.
I always have stuff going on, and this was. I knew that they did. I came to the Short Fest last year, and I saw it, and I thought it was great. And the whole community television is amazing. NCTV blew my mind away as far as what they have available. And I should say this too, coming from New York, where you spend thousands and thousands to rent gear, so the fact that this stuff is available was incredible. I've talked to Andrew about this too. They're very well aware of this, but it was an amazing. So any sort of resource. So if anything, hopefully I can be an inspiration for some kid out there that wants to go and write it out and shoot his movie. Go for it. You know.
Now, did you storyboard it, and did you do the whole 9 yards?
I wrote a script. I had a script. I wrote 4 pages of the script, but as I got deeper into it, it got more and more involved because I did the voiceovers together as I found the footage. So basically, it's about me and my transition from going to New York to moving to Nantucket and giving up the life in New York and starting one in Nantucket. And I had these hard drives, so I had to comb through a lot of footage of just stuff that, quite honestly, I'm not sure why I ever did. There's a scene in there of me spray painting my bike on the rooftop of my apartment, and I made it in, so I don't know.
Only in New York, though. That's not something
Right,
you do.
exactly.
I
But,
don't know whether you do that on a roof on Nantucket, maybe, but probably not.
No, probably not.
That's great. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thrilled that you were able to do this. Can I get a general idea of how long it took start to finish?
Ooh, let's see. I would say I was kind of figuring this out the other day with my wife. Well over 100 hours, for sure. I mean, I started it in July, and I finished the final edit probably right before, actually almost right to the deadline. So, a good 3.5 months of just. I have much respect for documentary film.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that for sure.
And okay, we're saying 100 hours. Is that what you just said?
Easily.
Okay.
Easily.
And how long is your film?
9 minutes. I think it's 8:50, and then the credits maybe 9:20. So we'll see.
So that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm just this whole process of seeing something in your head, putting it on paper, sitting down with it for so long, and then getting to this point is great. NCTV.
Yay!
I do think we should point out that there's this preconceived notion about community television.
Yes.
And I had it. I'm very guilty of this, of what community television is.
Right.
Cable access and stuff, but
Which it is. It's everything.
It is, but I feel like I think that built into that is this thing that it's not cool, but I don't know. I think it's great.
Well, we have a great opportunity here, and we need to support it because people don't realize what a great resource it is.
I agree with you 100%. It's amazing, and I wouldn't be able to make this film if it wasn't for NCTV. So,
Doug, thanks so much.
Right on.
Up to the red carpet, sir.
Yeah.
Cancer. Yeah, that's the story. That's it.
Downer song, downer song, downer song.
Man, that's depressing. Hooray.
That's depressing.
This is a story about change. No, not that kind of change. Personal change. my personal change, or should I say, my life 180. In 2010, I made a random decision that drastically altered the course of my life. To explain, I had been living in New York City for the last 12 years, in this apartment building in the East Village. Here's me in front of that very building on the day I moved out. Things were okay, but I had this underlying sense that I needed a change. 12 years in the East Village and I felt lost. I was empty. This is me on the rooftop of my apartment, spray painting my new $1,000 bike to appear old and crappy so it didn't get stolen. And just for the record, I had a total of 8 bikes stolen in New York. I knew I needed to do something drastic. I needed a change. I wasn't sure what it was, but my New York life just wasn't cutting it for some reason. I was reading books about happiness, self-help, existentialism, just to try and figure it out. At that time, my New York life was all about one thing: my band, The Sweet Ones. Here's us playing the Living Room, a great club that closed a month after this very show. I guess like everything cool, it eventually ends. I love the Sweet Ones. I put 9 years of my life into that band. We made 3 records, and a 4th that's still sitting on this hard drive on my desk. At this point, it's important to tell you that I also had a very different occupation in New York. As you can see, I was a commercial actor. And like most actors in New York, I've been trying to support myself through catering and other mindless temp jobs since moving to the city in 1998. But by 2010, I was actually starting to support myself with national commercials. You might not realize how much of your life is on your computer.
Then he said to me, "What about you, Dad?"
And just for comedic purposes,
Then he said to me, "What about you, Dad?"
little did I know those words would come to be fortuitous. Then, one early spring night in a bar in Brooklyn, my friend told me he was going out to Nantucket for a gig, and that's when it started. To this day, I'm not sure why or what actually possessed me, but I decided to go out with him. And that was it. The Nantucket seed had been planted. So I packed up my things, and I moved to Nantucket for the summer. I should mention that housing was still a problem back in 2010, so the only thing I could find was this old shed for rent. A shed. Who'd have thought, right? So I rented it. Hell, I should have bought the thing. It'd be worth millions now. To keep myself busy, I made videos for my friends and family back home to document my experience.
Forms of elegance here. We have the sink. The water runs, turns on. This is the best part. Look at that. Who needs drains, right? Right into the soil. Right? And that's pretty much it. So that was just to give you an idea of Whack Shack Live. We'll check in a little. I'll hopefully have some more pictures and blogs about what's going on in the Whack Shack life. We'll check in with you a little later.
It was a soul-searching period of my life. Having left my world in New York City to live in a shed and start working as a landscaper was a scary contrast. It wasn't until I got invited to a birthday party that things really changed. That's where I met Amy. We hit it off immediately. I have to say, looking back on it now, it was effortless. We totally got along, and Nantucket started to make total sense to me. I fell in love with Amy and got introduced to an amazing community of people. It's amazing what love can do. I went back to New York, and Amy and I continued to date. We both went back and forth between Nantucket and New York. I have to say, it was perfect. I spent summers in Nantucket, and in the fall I went back to New York. But the challenge that Amy and I had in front of us was going to be a true relationship tester, and now looking back on it, a huge part of my life 180. To explain, in the winter of 2013, I began to feel sick. I noticed I was having a lot of trouble singing. Something was wrong, but I wasn't sure what it was. I had no energy, and I was lying in bed all day. I kept thinking I had some sort of weird virus that just wouldn't go away. I went to a throat doctor who started treating me for acid reflux, but I continued to feel and get more sick. I knew something was wrong. Having been sick for almost a year, I finally went back to the throat doctor and told him, "Look, something's wrong. Can you please help me?" In the spring of 2013, I got diagnosed with stage 1/2 papillary thyroid cancer. My worst nightmare had come true. I underwent a full thyroidectomy. This is me a few days after my surgery. The experience of being diagnosed with cancer is brutal. It's transformative. I don't know if you ever fully recover from it mentally. I spent the first few weeks recovering and then headed out to Nantucket. The island and its community was a big part of my recovery process. Life post-cancer found Amy and I even more committed to each other. She got me through cancer, and I could not have done it without her. And I'll take this part of the film to say a public thank you and I love you. As if cancer wasn't enough of a surprise, Amy and I got the ultimate surprise. Piper Jane Cody was born January 18th, 2015. At this point, for me, the writing was on the wall for my life in New York. Piper was almost the completion of my life 180. The full completion came with our wedding. Yeah, I know we did it backwards. We had the kid and then the wedding. I just like to think that Amy and I are really progressive. In 2016, Amy and I got married in our front yard with Piper in tow. Real change takes time. Life takes time. But when you are patient and open, anyone can have a life 180. I took a chance, and I got the best life 180 a man could ask for. Life 180s are all around us. We just have to listen to our hearts and trust in the power of change.
My grandfather, a lawyer, he said, son, be an architect, just watch the world get built. And since they both retired, they sit around uninspired. They worry about their money and how hard they work for it. 'Cause color,
Roll it down. Say hi to him. I got it on video. Hi, bud.
Oh, you look like Duncan. Hi. I only have one horn.
I'm here with John Copenhaver, Twix, Boat, and Firewood. Can you tell me a little bit without giving it away? It's a funny title.
Put it this way, the film started off with one idea in mind and ended up with something completely different. And filmmaking goes that way sometimes.
It does.
You start with one idea and end up with something different.
Which is part of the fun.
It's part of the fun.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Now, have you worked with NCTV before?
Yes, I did a film last year called Everyone Has a Story. And
yes, I remember that one. Excellent.
Thank you.
Great stuff.
Yes, it was particularly nice since I did a very nice interview with Elizabeth Murray, who passed away about 2 weeks ago. I was at her funeral yesterday, and it was very nice to have sort of a record of her reminiscence of the Nantucket. So
that's terrific. Can you give me a little bit of background about this boat that we're going to be seeing in the film today, or is that going to give it away?
No, I won't give it away. The boat was sitting in a friend of mine's yard for a very long time. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, that sounds great. Twigs boat or firewood?
Twigs boat and firewood.
Okay, that's great. I think I have a general idea, but we'll see how that all pans out. Are you a boat builder by chance?
Yes, I am. I've built several. And I was looking for a project. I am still looking for a project, for a boat building project.
You better be careful saying that on Nantucket. There's a lot of derelict boats out there.
Yeah, well, you never know. Maybe I'll find a good one.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much. Before we close, I just would like to hear your experience with the local channel. Have you had an opportunity to work with them, and what has that experience been like?
It's been terrific. They've been very helpful. I've got equipment from them and advice and guidance on the editing process. They couldn't have been nicer. It's been a great experience from start to finish.
I think a lot of people find it very intimidating. Is it intimidating?
Well, the process is intimidating.
In what way?
Well, particularly editing. After editing these two films, I have a whole newfound respect for film editors. It's really hard. And without, Mark and Andrew and Chris, I wouldn't have been able to do it over the past two films. So my hat's off to them, and their support has been instrumental in making my films viable and complete.
That's wonderful. Would you encourage other people to come in and try it out?
Absolutely. This is a bargain. It's a nominal amount to join, and you have access to equipment and to expertise. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, that's great. All right, John. Well, I look forward to seeing the film today, and I'm going to ask you to head up to the red carpet.
Okay, thank you.
Very good.
Well, my wife has told me in no uncertain terms that this winter I'm to get out of the house. Go to your shop, she said. Get a project. Just get out from under my feet. So if I want to last till spring, I better find something to do. Now I'm a boat builder. I built canoe, paddleboard, kayak, sailboat, dinghy. I think I want a boat project. Well, I saw some fabulous boats in the Opera Cup Day Parade. Maybe I can get inspiration from one of them. Wow, look at her. Isn't she beautiful? The problem is, I don't have enough friends where I could possibly crew her. Oh well. Here's another. Won't fit in my shop. Wouldn't be able to get it in or out without taking a wall down. Oh, I know. Oh, look at these beetle cats. The rainbow fleet. Aye, perfect. And I know exactly where I can find one. Say, Oli, it's John. Yeah. Say, you know that beetle cat that's sitting out behind your garage that Mary's been trying to get you to get rid of for the past decade or so? Yeah, I think I might have a home for it. Yes, right. Right here in my shop. You will? Why, thanks. I'll be over with some friends to pick it up. Thanks, bye. This boat is somewhere between firewood and boat. Okay, this is the great unveil. Yeah. Boy, this boat has its problems, I'll have to admit. Will you quit cackling? I'm not even sure it's firewood. Will this shit burn? No, it just needs to be cleaned up. It just needs to be cleaned up. We got the thing on a trailer. Once you got it in the shop. What's that? It'll be easy to take apart. Yeah, it'll be easy to take apart. It's already apart right now. Here we are. Is that what I lost?
I think so. Either that or it's a coincidence that this was lying in the road when we all stopped on Liberty. I don't see anything missing though.
Unless it's from the deck. No, that's the wrong shape. That's just a board, yeah. And thank you, gentlemen.
We'll be back next week to move it out.
That'll come out in pieces. Okay, well, we've done a preliminary inspection, looked at the outside. Doesn't look all that great, frankly. But we really won't know whether this boat is salvageable until we start to take it apart. So I'm going to start by taking the planks off one by one and inspecting each plank for cracks, for holes, for rot, what have you. It's an important first step. And if the planks are okay and the frames underneath it are solid, then there's a possibility that we can make this thing work. Well, this does definitely not look good. First of all, I can't get the galvanized, oh, look at this. You can see this frame is, all these frames are totally split. Man, there's more shit in here. I'm sorry, folks. I don't think this boat is salvageable. It looks like the solution to all of my problems here is a Sawzall. Like I said, this project was titled Twixt Firewood and Boat. There she be, one former boat, off to a new future. Well, the boat's gone to boat heaven, and I'm left without a project, and a wife. I hope I make it through the winter. I need another project. Help!
All right, guys, I'm here with Archie Ferguson, and he did one of our short films for this year's festival, 4th annual. And the name of your film is Interview Gone Pear-Shaped. I can honestly say I've never heard a film with that
term. Yeah.
Oh, it's an English term.
Yeah, it means like going wrong, like, yeah, basically going wrong. Yeah.
Okay. An interview gone wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully this will not be one of those.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, great. Can you give me a hint about the film and who this man is behind you?
This is Andrew Cromartie. In the film he's called Mandrew Cromartie. So he is. It's just like a play on, but it's like a comedy. It's funny. It's an interview gone wrong. It's like we have Lisa Cheese, which is Lisa Guetta, who is right now right there behind the camera. Not behind the camera, way back there taking pictures. Right. And she is getting interviewed by you. And it's just gone wrong. Like there's funny lines. Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm so looking forward to this. Now, did you storyboard this? Did you write up a script? Tell me how this came to be.
Well, it's actually started as me wanting to make like a bank robbery thing on Nantucket. And I was like 2 days in of writing doing a storyboard, and then I was like, this is gonna be way too hard because I wrote in like 6 pages of a storyboard, and it was like I can't do this because it would take me too long, and I only had 2 weeks. It was it was at the beginning of August,
So you came in late, and you had to meet that deadline.
So I had to learn a whole new editing program, which was fun, and then I just wrote a script in an hour, 7 pages, and then I filmed it on a Saturday, I think. And
Is this your first film?
This is my first film going in the Shorts Fest, yes.
Okay, gotcha. Are you an actor, or what is your interest in all of this?
I'd say I'm either an actor or director.
Actor or director?
Yes.
All right. Wonderful. Well, I'm so looking forward to this. It sounds like a lot of fun, and I know some of the players in the film, so I'm super looking forward to that as well. And I hope to see you in something at some point.
Okay, yeah.
Do you act on stage, or do you do other things around the community?
I was in like Junior Shrek, which actually was I think 2 years ago, or three years ago. So
you were just a young boy then?
Yeah, I was only 8 years old. So.
Right.
You also have your own channel.
I also have, what?
YouTube.
Oh yeah, YouTube. I have my own YouTube channel, which I still do post on. So if you didn't make it to the event, you can see it tomorrow on my channel. So.
Okay. What is your channel? How do we find you?
Just search Archie Ferguson on YouTube.
All right. You heard it here first. All right. Well, I guess he has a new title now. He's now your PR director or something.
That's right.
All right, great. I'm going to ask you to head up to the red carpet, and I look so forward to seeing your film. Thank you.
Okay, this is going to be on TV, so don't mess up. No pressure.
Lots of pressure.
Lights, camera, action.
Hello, and welcome to What's New on ECK. My name is Mandrew Cromartie. My name is Andrew Cromartie, and today we are starting off with an interview. So please welcome none other than Lisa Cheese. Lisa.
Hello, Andrew.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So I heard you're partnering with Skippy Peanut Butter, is that right?
That's right, yes. I actually plan on increasing the peanut butter the peanut butteriness by 340. How's that again? I plan on increasing the peanut butteriness by 342%, yes.
Wow.
I do. I've done my research
Yeah.
from Thomas Edison to Michael Jackson, and I've even purchased George Washington Carver shoes from eBay.
Really? So is it all peanuts?
It's all peanuts. Like peanuts, just thousands and millions of peanuts.
Thousands and millions of peanuts.
Yeah.
Wow, right.
Yeah. This is the culmination of my life's work. My soul is a peanut.
Cut. Let's go from yes I am.
Yes, I am.
Where is your Nantucket office located?
It's actually 3 trees past Pulpus Harbour. If you go past the smell of the hot dog, you've gone too far.
Hot dogs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but you've got to keep an eye out for the Italian stray cats.
Interesting.
Cut. Okay, we'll just skip that part and come back to it, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go from page 2, question 3.
Okay.
Action.
So, what brought you to Nantucket?
I first came to Nantucket because I was drawn because of the lampshades. I really like lampshades. And I also like the beaches.
Me too. I think that's what makes Nantucket so
Really?
beautiful.
Yeah, so many lampshades.
Yeah.
It is. It's
And
very,
beaches.
very picturesque. Mm-hmm.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Cut. Take 5 minutes to get your heads on straight, and I'll be right back.
Let's just go from the top. Hello, and welcome to What's New on ECK. I'm Andrew Cromartie, and today we're starting off with an interview done with none other than Lisa Getter. Hello, Lisa. Welcome to the show. Lisa. Lisa.
Jeff is the enemy.
We'll be right back after this break. Well, that sure was interesting.
Wasn't it?
Thank you for joining us for another low-budget presentation of What's New on ECK. I'm Andrew Cromartie. Buenas noches.
Hi guys, I'm here with one of the filmmakers, Leighton Collis, and Leighton made a beautiful film called Nantucket Love Letters, Sconset. Is this your first film, Leighton?
It is, yeah.
What prompted you to do this?
You know, I wanted to give a lot of thought to, can place really change people, and why? And so I've met Sconset people over the years, and they sort of range between zealots and really kind people. And I wanted to just kind of take a hard look at what is that, what's it about? And so, honestly, to me, it's still a mystery, but we did a little film about how this place may have changed the voiceover. So, or changed a boy, who then grew up to be a very old man. So.
And who is this person? Is there someone you have in the film that is your actor, or?
Oh yeah, thank you for asking. So Bennett Ladder is I think Bennett is 6. He's my actor, and his puppy Duke is also our model. There are a few other people, but the main actor is a very young boy. He's got a lot of character, and his dog could not have been a sweeter puppy, and you'll see the puppy ride in the back of a wagon. Unfortunately, the puppy passed away after the film, so it makes it really poignant, and so we've dedicated the film to Duke.
Oh,
so,
very nice.
Yeah.
The film to Duke. That's lovely.
And it's in the trailer. So.
Is this autobiographical?
No. This is. It's based on a couple of conversations I've had. Some with Mark, the owner of the Sconset Market, which also features really as sort of the big destination in the movie, and some old people. Just it was a terrible way to put that. Older people who I met just hanging out and relaxing, and who have this very strange, almost peace about them. And for them, the sort of touching this place is part of, it's more than a touchstone, it's some sort of got a hold on their character. So that's what I tried to explore that in a really short film, and it was fun.
How long have you known Sconset? Is this something you've known throughout your life?
20 years, about 20 years.
20 years. Okay, great.
And I am not a Sconseter. I'm fascinated by it, but I don't live in Sconset. So.
Oh, that adds a different twist, doesn't it? Because it's sort of an outside view, perhaps?
Yeah, I'm really just a visitor trying to understand it. I've been visiting for many times, but I'm puzzled by it. And I find it wonderful. I think it's a really transformative place. Yeah. So I just keep trying to figure why is that?
There is something really magical about that place, I can say. And there's something kind of odd. I remember one day walking down the street with a friend of mine. We both were wearing black hats. We're both actors, and we're walking down the road, and everyone was turning and looking at us because everyone else was wearing white.
Yeah, I think there's this almost I don't know. It's a atmospheric magic. Don't know why. Still can't quite figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I so look forward to the film. Thank you so much for participating in this. Also, one quick thing: can you tell me what your experience was? How you created this film? Did you do it through the local?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for asking that question. So I had 3 different camera people help me with this. Two are. Yellow Productions and Matt Kissaday, and then I brought in a shooter from North Carolina. So it was a 3-camera, not all at once, but it was a 3-camera production. And I had fabulous help, and Bennett's mom is Claire Ladder, who is a teacher here, and I gave her a producer credit because she helped so much in producing this thing. So. Yeah, so I'm a Brant Point person, but I'm still sort of a student of all of the villages of the island.
Right. Well, congratulations, and I'm so looking forward to seeing it. And please step on up to the red carpet and get your photo taken.
Exciting. Thank you.
Exciting day.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
What I remember? Oh, summer smells, salty waves, smelly dogs, my mother's pancakes, long gone now, and Sconset. In this family, we can't get enough Sconset. It's our genes, a big hunger for tiny wonders. Here we live in each other's back pocket, happy in ramshackle cottages. For its tiny size, Sconset lives big. In lanes just wide enough for 1 car, someone gives way when 2 cars meet. In side yards just wide enough for a surfboard, a corkscrew gets passed over the fence with a grin and a "what are you pouring?" Over your shoulder the ocean shines and flirts, a constant companion. Here where you're from doesn't count much. Mogul or movie maker or mom, it doesn't much matter. Everyone is someone important. Sconset wipes that off-island blather away with a good sandy scrub. In return, Sconset asks for something. It asks you to be better. At first you do it because it's the town's way. But watch out. It's sticky like syrup. You'll learn in return for your shot glass of Sconset. That outdoor shower wake-up slap will be something you like. In time, you'll find the Sconset you is your best you, kinder and curious, and that you can take it with you. With your first love, you'll find you want to be Sconset for her. New loves will ask for it, your children, your grandchildren, if you're lucky. By then, you'll know to plant them on the beach, tuck some sand in their DNA. Sure, life is complicated, but let me tell you something. Hunger is simple. Be hungry for the right stuff, for blue skies and big adventures, for smelly dogs and red wagons and flirty waves. Be hungry for Sunday mornings, climbing into your parents' bed, and for your mom's steady love. Sconset isn't a badge, it's DNA. That's why we're Sconset people with a big hunger for tiny wonders, a big hunger for pancakes, blueberry pancakes.
All right, we're getting ready to see Squam Swamp Romp by Sue Riddle and Liza Obremski. Pretty exciting stuff. You guys have been busy with other things, which we will get into, but let's talk about the film first.
So we have made actually the short film, it's 2 minutes of our Out to Sea, which is the TV show that we are producing with Nantucket Community Television, starring Nan Puppets and a bunch of other wonderful, fun children things. So it's actually a section of our TV show. And in it, we travel through Squam Swamp, and you use your imagination to think about what you can do when you're out there, because it's just a magical place to be. And every time we've been out there, you know, you picture little fairies running around and everybody having fun. So we wanted to make that a reality for kids, mostly, and grown-ups.
Well, needless to say, it's really nice these days to have sort of a diversion, right? We need some way to like go off and play and have fun. And watching you guys seem to have a lot of fun.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we laugh a lot while we're working, and that's helpful.
It's really terrific. And also the fact that, you know, for years they've always talked about how there's no children's television. You guys are right in there doing it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And thank goodness for Nantucket Community Television, because you guys are why we can do it. You provide us with all of the equipment, and you've taught us everything, too. If we didn't have you guys, I mean, we walked in not knowing anything, and you basically all just went, here you go. And so we owe it to you guys. So go NCTV.
Oh, that's so great to hear. And now, that being said, it's not an easy task, right?
We are shocked all the time.
Yeah, it's very labor intensive to do with just two people, because we do every aspect of the show, from writing to filming to editing. All of it is, you know, with the help of the TV station. I mean,
But you guys are dedicated to it, and you have stuck with it, and I'm so impressed by that, I have to say, because I know it can be really daunting.
It is, but it's exciting. We're almost done with our next episode, which is coming out in the next couple weeks, and it's like that edge of finishing it makes it like, okay, this was worth it. That was fun. Let's do some more.
Great. I'm so pleased to hear that, because I would love to see more from you guys. I really would. It's you know, it's a great thing, and having the kids involved and everything. And so, do you want to talk more about the show? What are we going to see in the future from Out to Sea?
Yeah. So we're about to release another episode, and every episode we go out to see something on Nantucket and learn about it, and it stars puppets, but also Sue is a children's illustrator, so we are incorporating her drawings as well and starting to animate them. And it's kind of a variety show. Like, there's a storyline throughout, but then there's crazy, wacky things that happen throughout the whole thing to keep kids' interest, because nowadays it's hard for kids to pay attention for long periods of time. But we're really trying to go back to that old school, cozy feeling that you used to have when we were all growing up. Because now everything's so fast-paced, you just want kids to take a breath and feel the love.
Oh, that's so nice!
Liza relates directly to the kids through the medium in that old school way of, like, you know, speaking directly to them, which you just don't see that often anymore, and it feels really cozy. Yeah.
And so animation, that's a pretty exciting thing. So you've actually even moved beyond.
Speaking of labor intensive, yeah. So we're going to be putting a team together eventually, but right now it's just us. So we're like,
well, there are some students who are starting to do this. So
exactly. I would love to pull some of the kids in, and that's, you know, we're working toward that right now.
And if there's anybody out there, you know, hello. Well, I'm just so pleased you guys are able to do this, and you know, it's great for the kids, and it just makes me feel good about the fact that we're moving in this direction where kids are, like you said, they feel warm and cozy, and you know, I grew up with Mr. Rogers, so I want kids to feel safe and loved.
Yeah, it's really important these days, I think. So that's what we're going for.
Very good. All right, girls. Well, you guys are off to the red carpet.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. See you guys soon. Bye. Hey guys, I'm here with Dan Driscoll, and he did a film about Nantucket's least interesting man. Now, this isn't about my husband, is it?
No, not at all, not at all. No.
What can you tell me about the film?
This is another collaboration with Kevin Flynn, the comedian, who I worked with last year when we did the film Traffic, Fear and Loathing on Nantucket. And this is the germ of the idea was the, oh God, brain cramp. What's that Mexican beer? No, the other one. Dos Equis campaign. The most interesting man in the world. This is the antithesis.
Okay, very good.
He's a spoiled rich kid. We didn't want to call him Chad because we didn't want to offend anybody. Of course not. But it's kind of, that's kind of him. And
I met a young man by the name of Chad this summer, at age 14. I felt badly for him, quite frankly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm pleased that you didn't do that.
Thank you.
So what name did you choose?
We gave him no name at all. He's just Nantucket's least interesting man.
I love it. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
What a really great thing. And Kevin is hilarious.
Kevin is hilarious. He's a great writer. We all do him way too fast, like all of our films for the shorts, but decided to do one more comedy. I promise next year I won't do a comedy. Probably a documentary.
I think we should do a little full disclosure here because we kind of passed the torch this year, and I'm really excited about this because I was the president of NCTV and he is the president of NCTV, and I got to tell you, I am super excited about this, Dan, because you bring such a wealth of knowledge to this, and it's just. I'm really pleased, and I think that we have gone so far already, and with your leadership and with the support of the community, I just know we're going to just go gangbusters.
Very kind of you to say. Thank you.
I'm super excited.
Thank you.
I hope you're as excited as I am.
I am. Still a big learning curve.
Yes.
But I'm excited.
Yeah, it is.
Lots of challenges.
It is.
Yes.
And financially is one of them, so I'll go ahead and throw that out there. If anybody wants to support NCTV, go ahead and do it.
Indeed. We need your help because we're trying to educate people. Part of the Shorts Festival is to raise a little additional money to build a scholarship so anybody, young or old, if they want to pursue film education a little bit more, whether it's at the station or otherwise, we want to be able to help them financially do that. So we've done very well. We've had some very generous sponsors this year, which is hugely appreciated.
And you've been involved in the Nantucket Shorts Festival since
The inception, yeah.
Which was 2013.
It was 5 years ago. We missed 1 year when Arts Festival didn't run, but it's 5 years old.
Okay, but we're still calling it the 4th annual.
I know. Sorry to confuse you.
Dan, well, thank you so much for all that you do.
You're
and I so look forward to this film. They've always been great in the past.
I hope you laugh.
Yeah, I have a feeling you will. Between you and Kevin, it's
Right.
got to be fun.
Thank you, dear.
So
Thank you.
You'll see him wandering the streets of Nantucket in search of a cocktail party, a fundraiser, any type of get-together, really. No one really knows what he does for a living. Hell, he doesn't even know what he does for a living. He was born with a silver spoon firmly stuck between his milky white buttocks.
That's why my ass hurts.
He's Nantucket's least interesting man. You'll see him at all the best establishments.
Do you like food?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too. Nantucket food. Yeah, and St. Bart's food and Aspen food. Yeah, I travel a lot and I go to Europe. It's a great country, and I like their food too. I travel a lot. Thank God I don't have to fly commercial.
I'm married, so.
To a guy?
Yeah. Not interested. By the way, your fly's down.
Hey, you look familiar. Have you worked for me? Are you a landscaper? No. Boat captain?
No. No, sorry, man. I'm an actor, so you know.
Oh, an
people
actor.
Think that I worked with them, or went to school with them, or something.
Oh, this is my impression of an actor. Can I take your order, please? But you act.
I sometimes, yeah. Your fly's still down.
Oh,
there,
still.
brother. Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
Are you married? Yes.
To a guy?
No. Why?
He's a rugged individualist, a man of humble beginnings.
Oh, working builds character. Some people think they're entitled to some sort of government handout. You have to work for a living, duh. For instance, I went to work for my family company at the very bottom. I started in the warehouse. And after 2 weeks, they made me CEO. And then I went to Aspen for the rest of the winter and met her.
Wait. I thought that you registered this boat in Liberia to avoid paying taxes.
He's Nantucket's least interesting man.
Where's Liberia?
Mind readers charge him half price.
Let's go skinny dipping!
Oh, well, you guys, there's a riptide, an undertow. We have to wait 20 minutes. We just ate. I can't swim. Oh.
He thinks Martha's Vineyard is a Chinese hoax.
Green's my favorite color. It's like blue and yellow had a baby. It's also the color of money.
He's Nantucket's least interesting man.
I like to go to restaurants because there's food there. I mean, I eat every day. I'm a vegetarian. Cheers to that. Cheers. You know, there's different types of vegetarians. Like, you know, I eat meat and stuff, but I'm not sure what name that is. But there's different types. Like, if you eat fish, you're a pescatarian.
He thinks Taco Bell is a Mexican phone company.
Do you want to have a menage a trois?
I don't like French food.
Dude, did you just pee into the champagne bucket?
I thought that was the urinal, but it wasn't.
His IQ constantly hovers around room temperature.
Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Does anybody know who this guy is?
Yes, he's Nantucket's least interesting man.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey. All right, filmmakers, why don't you come down? There's 12 of you. Okay, meanwhile, everybody fill out those, what's your favorite film? What's your favorite film? If you need a pen, borrow one, or a pencil, just check it out and pass your ballots to the end of the aisle where volunteers will pick them up. 12 films, Mark. I know you had something to do with them, brother. So while you're filling out your ballots, I'm going to ask the 12 filmmakers to come up to the front and actually get on stage with me, okay? Okay. John Copenhaver, come on, brother. Looks like you could use Mike Allen's help with your boat. I would go down to... all right, so look, that was kind of amazing, right? Holy mackerel! Holy tamale! Right? Oh! How dare they have these stairs? Okay, so we got an extra microphone here, so what we're going to do is we're going to pass these around. Look, Leighton, I'm standing next to you, brother. I'd never met you. The only Leighton I ever met was Leighton Meester, who played my daughter on Gossip Girl. So you're Leighton Colas, right? So you made that film about Sconset. Leighton, that's a beautiful film, right? I mean, that's something, bro. Okay, really beautiful. Here, you're talking to the mic. It helps. Is it on? Test. Testing 1, 2. Yeah, it is, bro.
Hey.
Yeah, get it up there. So, Leighton, what inspired? Do you live in Wisconsin?
I don't. No, I don't want to say, everyone has their village.
Yeah.
And I've been fascinated by Wisconsin people.
So you went out there. When did you shoot this?
August.
This past August?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So how long did it take to shoot?
It took us about 2 weeks.
And have you shot stuff before?
I'm an ad guy. So,
You are. Because
but
it
I'm
looked
not
really beautiful, right? I mean, it was like shot so beautifully and sort of slow-mo stuff, and right?
Right,
And
so-
all these beautiful shots. So what inspired you? You went out to Wisconsin and fell in love there?
No, I think what...
What was it?
Yeah. So I think that there's, when you talk to Wisconsin people, it's almost, it's either, it's almost a little bit cult-like. And what I was curious about, right? I mean, and that's not a judgment on anyone, but what I was curious about was, is it the place that changes people? And can places do that? And I think that that is one of those places. There's something about an expectation around how you're supposed to behave. And I think I was curious about poking at that.
Wow. Okay. And like the kid and the dog. Is that your
Yeah.
family?
No. So the Bennett, they're sort of my family now.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out like how did this film come together? Was it your idea to do it, or did somebody ask you to shoot it, or?
What I'm trying to do is a little film on each village, because every village is different,
Okay.
and try to get to the character of it.
Okay.
So the boy is Bennett. Bennett Latter. His mom is Claire Latter, a third grade teacher here on the island.
Yeah.
Duke was their dog.
Oh, wow.
And there's something about the Sunday morning moments with your kids, and I wanted to capture that, but also try to communicate the safety of that place. And there's a little. We're really just trying to get a film about feeling about that place.
As far as I know, there's never been a film called Sconset, about Sconset, that's set all in Sconset. I lived there. I've lived there for, I don't know, forever.
Yeah.
And I thought you captured it beautifully. Really beautiful. I want to come over to your house for pancakes.
Thank you.
On Sunday.
I made all of those pancakes. That's why they're so beautiful, that shot.
I mean, I'm just telling you, they were perfect pancakes, right?
Yeah,
So
right,
anyway, fantastic job. What did you shoot on, just technically? So anybody else who wants to shoot a film someplace knows technically. You're an ad guy, but was that your camera? Where did you get the camera?
So two different cameramen, Josh Robinson and then Chris from Yellow Productions. We shot 60 frames per minute most of the time, so we could slow it down.
Yes.
And that was part of what we wanted to communicate feeling.
Were you shooting digitally with
Digital.
a Sony, or what were you shooting with?
I don't know.
You don't know what
Yeah.
camera? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're the director. Did you?
I am.
Who wrote it?
I wrote it.
You wrote it.
Yeah.
Okay. So because it was beautifully written too, it had a poetry to it that was, real.
Thank you.
And so, congratulations.
Yeah.
I mean, fantastic, right?
Thank you.
Wow.
You're up.
Wow. Now, Beverly, I'm down here in your world. You were the girl. No. We're not going down the line, girl. We're bouncing around. Beverly, this is your second film, and you were the opening film. So that was like 12 films ago. But wasn't that great, right? Oh my God. And we have to say, you guys. Oh yeah, sorry. I should have. Thank you, Danny.
Okay.
So that's your world out there that you led us into.
Yes.
So last year, if I remember, you shot a film about
Hannah.
Hannah Moynihan.
At Greater Light,
At
yes.
Greater Light.
Yes, and I decided to be a little bit more adventuresome.
So having gone into her world, you then led us into your world a little bit.
Yes.
But you did it in a very funny way. It was kind of great. So
Well-
what inspired you? How did you do this?
Well, I was turning 75 to do a serious film. I really had planned to do sort of something autobiographical. I didn't have this festival in mind, but it got funnier and funnier as David got involved and the trumpet got involved. And then Andrew came in and helped me out and put it together, and before I knew it, I think I had more comedy than serious. But it was a little bit about my life with the Leaping Lady and why I love Nantucket and the images that have sort of become my iconic images. And it's sort of a love song to Nantucket using myself as a subject.
Yeah. It's a great thing Beverly is, an individual who started as a still photographer who's become a
I still
filmmaker,
am.
right? I wanted to
I
talk
can't
to you-
sit still, but I'm a still photographer.
I know you're still doing well. You're still a still photographer.
I am.
But now you have a partnership with Andrew, who
I
came
do.
in. So Andrew's the filmmaker. who actually did the shooting, so you could be in the film because you're starring in the film. So you need someone else to right. So
Yeah,
you
I
asked him
did a
to help
lot
shoot
of
it.
editing.
Yeah, and you did a lot of the editing in the right. And let me ask you. Let me guess that you did this with Andrew at Channel 18 at NCTV.
And Channel 18 is
Right.
now my new
new home away from
location
home.
because
Yeah,
I'm
it is,
going to
right?
be on the board, and I'm so excited because
Yeah.
this film festival, the
Yeah.
shorts, has made me a committed community TV gal.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
great.
love them.
Andrew Cromartie is one of the key ingredients to the success of Channel 18. I just want to give hats off to you, brother. I mean, he's awesome. His film you may remember from last year or 2 years ago was that last year, the beautiful film about the bunker out at Tom Nevers when, you know, we go inside that beautiful shot that got closer and closer and closer to that opening shot. And anyway, he's a fantastic filmmaker himself. So anyway, thank you, Andrew. So let's jump around. Oh, Melissa, who I'm waiting for you. Wait, Sue. Okay, and Lisa. Okay. So Sue and Liza, okay, so they made the film of the Swamp Romp, okay? Okay, I'm just gonna sit next to you just for a second. So, all right, let's talk about that for a second. I love that film, okay? That was just like sweet and crazy and, you know, like, see, relatively, you know, so tell me what inspired you? You know, how did you do this? Who made the puppets? Did you have these puppets?
Okay,
They're your stars,
yeah,
right? Oh, here they are.
Here they are.
Okay.
The mic is closed. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so
This is Liza, by the way. That's
I'm
Sue.
Liza. This
Go
is
ahead.
Sue.
Yeah.
We actually Sue kind of started with the idea that she, you know, when you go through Swamp, at least we both picture little fairies flying around and all sorts of crazy creatures.
It's a very magical place.
It's very magical. So we kind of came up with the concept and decided to make it a reality. We took apart a remote control car and made it drive around and made some puppets and stuck them in there. And all of those illustrations are actually Sue's. And it's a section of our children's television show that we have made. We have a pilot episode out. It's called Out to Sea. And within this month, we are going to release the next episode. And Swamp is part of that.
Oh, good. And so, and this children's television show is going to be on NCTV.
And we love them.
Okay, yeah.
And we can't say how much we love them because there are no words to express it.
Am I right to think, Sue, because I know your son Sawyer made a film and has been hanging around there, and Sawyer's awesome, right? But so now you have made a film, and so did you take the class with Andrew? How did it come to be?
Well, Sawyer and I went to the first class together, and just to even learn to set up the tripod and turn on a camera, we, you know, really from scratch.
And then you took the class on how to write it, how to shoot it, and then
then Liza and I started talking about just collaborating on a children's show because she's a puppeteer and I'm an illustrator, and our worlds just dovetailed very nicely, and
when I was in there on and off this year, I saw you both in the editing room a long time. So share with the audience how long it took you. So you shoot the film, and then how long does it take to edit it and get to that final form?
months and months and months when you're the only two people doing it.
Like months and months and months, right?
We have been doing, besides NCTV teaching us and using all of, okay. Besides using their equipment and the assistance that they give us and guide us and teach us how to do everything, we've been doing almost all the editing, all the filming, all the writing, all the making of the puppets, all the drawing.
Yeah.
So it takes a really long time.
Okay, so and your what's your television show called?
It's called Out to Sea.
Out to Sea, and
Yep.
it's going to be on NCTV when?
SEE, and
SEE?
our pilot is on, I don't know if it's still playing right now. It is, great, watch it. And it's on YouTube, and our next episode is coming up, and it will be on the TV station, and it will also be on YouTube, so you'll be able to watch it.
All right, so stay tuned, right? More to come. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for saving my life. This is Nathan Palmer. I'm just like drawn to him because he's sitting next to Sue. Nathan Palmer is the guy who shot the beautiful drone shots of the lynx and seeing the guys up there in the crow's nest. Wasn't that beautiful? Oh my God, Nathan, really beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay. So, and Nathan and I know each other because when I was making Gray Lady, a film that I made here 2 years ago, I looked on the websites all over Nantucket who could do drone shots. You know, the shots where you put a GoPro camera up on a drone and you fly it over the island. And the best, by far, was Nathan's. And he and I worked together, and he shot all the shots that, you know, Andrei Barkoviak and I, who's here, made that film. But we couldn't do the drone shots. So Andrei got, at the end, a 4K drone. Nathan provided the technology. He's a master at the drone, and an amateur pilot as well. And he's also the harbor master. He works in the harbor master's office, so his world is right out there at the end of the pier. So he's the guy who looks out and sees the ships coming and going all day long. So you must have seen the Lynx sailing out there, right? So what inspired you to make that beauty, that little beauty?
Well, it was crunch time. I wanted to put a real traditional type of short in. And I'm not a filmmaker. I'm on a pier with some great filmmakers. I consider myself just a pilot. It was a beautiful day. I went out on the boat, and I've always wanted to capture footage of those guys up in the riggings. And it's such a great view that I wanted to share it. And that's what basically became to be for that short. And when I did, they said about an hour we're going to go under sail. So I got footage of them going under sail, and when I put it all together just to make something that I was going to put out on YouTube, just to share with everyone, I was like, well, let me make this an entry. But the thing was the ending shot was the boat leaving the harbor. And I got to give credit to you. That was a shot that you had shot in the original, or in The Gray Lady. And so when I saw that, I'm like, I got everyone to know that that ending to that was something that was inspired by John Shea and his.
Well, brother,
his
but you're a master of this. And can I say one thing that made your film so beautiful as well is the marriage of the image with the music that you chose, right? So that was really beautiful. There's something about the music in each of the films that's so important, right? But there was something about your choice of music and the way you edited it to that music that lifted it all up and gave it an added. So what inspired you to choose that music?
It kind of just was, honestly, it was a gimme. All of it, to me, was a gimme on that one. I felt really lucky. And like I said, I like to share those types of videos. So with 2 days before deadline, I entered it in. And I was really happy with how the edit came out. The music kind of told the story, because that's the best that I could do with no narration or any other thing. So I said, you know what, it kind of... It's the best thing that I can do.
Yeah, you did it. You did it.
I
mean, because it gives it a heart that, you know, the visuals had, but it adds another dimension to it. It was, congratulations, really beautiful, Nathan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nathan Palmer. I'm going to come down here to Kit Noble. Kit Noble's film. Stars our great friend Chip Webster here. That's the one about chasing the eclipse, right? Wasn't that something? I mean, that was something really beautiful, man. And Chip, you know, we think we know you from around the island, but nobody knew that part of you, man. Like, holy mackerel, man. So,
the day I discovered that was the day I decided I was going to do the film.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, I've known Chip for 9 years since I've been out here.
Okay, so he told you that story one day, and you said,
a couple years ago.
Yeah?
And I asked him, what are you doing for the eclipse this year in August? And he said, well, I've got this property down in South Carolina that he bought 20 some odd years ago, and that's where the eclipse was going to be going right overhead.
Yeah.
So I said, that's got to get done.
There's your subject. Okay. Yeah. But you're an excellent filmmaker, Kid. You've made other films. I know you're a great photographer. You are. No, you are. So you're a real pro. I mean, there are people on the stage who are doing this for the first time, and then there's other people who've been doing it for,
still challenging.
For a while, but still. So what were the challenges this time?
Well, I'm glad you asked, John. I drove from Nantucket, actually. Well, I took the boat first. Then I drove 16 hours down to South Carolina, pulling an RV behind my Jeep. And I rolled onto the property at 10 a.m. in the morning, and the bar was open at the festival. And I had this decision to make. Am I going to partake in this 4-day incredible music festival, or am I going to just be a filmmaker and be responsible?
Tough choice.
Yeah, there was a balance there, but I was hungover for a lot of the filming. Let's put it that way. We were getting to sleep at 3 and 4 in the morning, and I was getting up at 6:30 to shoot the aerial shots with first light. It wasn't pretty.
But, well, it ended up being. It wasn't pretty, but it ended up being beautiful. because I don't know about you, but I want to find out where you're going next, and let us know, and we'll all show up. Okay.
Chip, if I have this right, if Chip goes to Antarctica in 2024,
Yeah.
he will be one of 3 people in the world who's been to all 7 continents.
Okay,
to,
awesome.
to view a total eclipse.
Is there anybody
So-
you want to? Really awesome. Thank you, Kit. Okay. Melissa, I'm going to jump to a woman. This is Melissa McLeod. Melissa's painting was, a film was called The Painting. And, you know, we've had a lot of films about a lot of subjects. But we've never had a film about artists. So you're an artist.
Yes, I am.
So you get together with a bunch of artists every... Tell us about how this came to be.
So I've actually been part of a group of artists. We've been together for a long time, over 20 years. A lot of them back to X-Gallery days. And we meet frequently, regularly, and to look at each other's work and talk about it. It's just kind of, you know, it helps us in working in the vacuum of the studio. Anyway, we have each other, which is a great thing. And every year at our annual Christmas party, we decide to make a collaborative painting. So there's a lot of wine involved, and then someone puts up a canvas, and we get a palette. And last year, I think this was our 5th year doing it. Anyway, I decided to actually film it. And it takes about 2 hours, and I cut it down to like 3 minutes. So, or anyway, it was really fun.
Had you ever made a film before like this?
No, never, no.
Had you? How did you learn how to edit?
Well, I was pulling my hair out a lot. I used iMovie, basically. I filmed it, and then I just learned how to use iMovie, and so I just edited it.
On your computer?
On my computer,
So
yeah.
you shot the film digitally, you downloaded it into your computer, you used iMovie, so you didn't have anything to do with Channel 18. You're the first person.
Nothing, yeah.
Yeah,
no,
okay, all right, awesome. Wow. So it's possible to do it at home, okay. Melissa and I are married. I have to tell you, I saw her do all of this stuff, and it was a magic act. And you know,
Yes, I'm not exactly
But this is a first-time
technologically
filmmaker, okay? This is like the opposite of Kid and Danny, who are like the old pros. And so anyway, but fun and great, you know. And that just goes to show you don't have to be intimidated. Like you have an idea, you have a world that you work in, you know, make a little film. Thank you, Melissa. Awesome.
Welcome.
Let's go down here, Archie. Okay, so, sorry, this is Archie Ferguson. Archie Ferguson shot that awesome film that was set in Channel 18, right?
Yeah.
And he wrote it, and he directed it, and he edited it. So, Archie, how did this come to be? Is that on, or I can give you mine? You sure? Here, talk into it.
It works.
There it is.
Okay.
So, what inspired you to make that film?
Well, I was at first going to do like a bank robbery thing, and I started storyboarding it, but then I noticed it would take like 5 weeks to storyboard because I had like done 6 pages and I was only like an eighth through the whole thing, and that took me 2 days, and I had like 3 weeks to get it done. So I thought of something else on the second day. I was like, no, this isn't gonna work out. So I wrote a script for the interview thing. And
How long did it take to write that script?
About an hour, maybe. So like it said at the end.
I love that.
Like it said at the end, it is a low budget
Yeah.
presentation.
And then you had both Lisa and Andrew there as your cast, right there at
Yes.
Channel 18,
Yeah.
right? And then, so then you shot it, and you
Yeah.
directed it, and we
Yep.
could see you directing it. You were part of the film, and then you edited it. And how did you
Yes.
learn how to edit?
Well, I think it was Andrew. Yeah, he taught me how to edit, and then I had like, yeah.
And so you've been hanging out Channel 18, like NCTV, a lot this winter,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So you absorbed all this stuff just hanging out there, right?
Yeah, like over the past.
Are there other
month.
kids who are doing that?
I think.
Well, not many, right?
Like not many people I know.
Right.
No, like no one in my class.
Right. I know. How old are you?
11.
11 years old. Okay. All right. Awesome. Really awesome. Thank you. Right? Okay. So I know that you're not Beth Weldon because she can't be here. But tell me your name again.
My name is Natasha Sharp, and I'm the editor for Beth Weldon's film Removing Bees with Jimmy.
Okay, that was also an amazing film, right? I mean, you brought us inside the world of bees. I mean, Beth and Jimmy, you know, and Beth has made a film about Jimmy before, And so this is a kind of sequel. I think it's kind of the first real sequel we've had because it was a little bit about Jimmy and his world of bees. But then this took us like right inside it. But you had to edit all of this. So how much footage was there and how long did they shoot that? And I saw that they did different sizes and different angles and locations. So how much footage did you have to edit and how much time did it take?
There were 4 hours of footage originally of 2 separate bee removals. It was shot by Tyler Johnston, and he came to me because we're both artists and residents at Nantucket Island School of Design and the Arts, and I have some editing experience, and so he said, I have 4 hours of footage. Are you willing to go through and edit it into a film for Beth? And I said yes, and I watched a lot of bees.
Girl, you are the bee's knees. You know, you did a beautiful job because I felt like I was a bee. I was there. And when he found the queen, I was so happy. And, you know, you told a story, you know. But I don't know, is Jim here? I mean, Jim, you're the, you know, you and the bees are the stars of this. But anyway, thank you so much. That was awesome. If anybody's got any bees, you got to go see Jim. It's, you know, it's a bee movie, right? But you did a great job. Are you still working out at NISDA?
Yeah, I'm there until the end of the month.
Okay, and then if people want you to edit their film, can they find you somewhere, you know?
23 Walwinnett Road.
All right. All right. You did a fantastic job editing this. Beth Weldon, I'm sorry she's not here. She had to leave, right? But we can, hats off to Beth. Danny. Hey, brother. I know your film was last, but I'm not going to interview you last. Melissa, let me sit on your lap. So this is Dan Driscoll. This is September
Hello.
Films. Dan is a key member of this film festival, makes it all happen. It was Dan's film that was the last film. It was the least interesting man on Nantucket. And you found the perfect casting in Kevin Flynn.
Kevin Flynn,
right,
yes.
who is by far the least interesting person. But so, let me ask you this. Your film is very different from all the other films that we've been talking about, I think, because yours was really scripted. Yours was like a little, I mean, it was a comedy, but it was really written. Right, you and Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin did most of the writing, and I just directed, shot, and edited.
Well,
very quickly.
Yeah, right? Yeah. How long did you have?
We shot it in less than 2 days, about a day and a half.
Yeah.
And I think I edited in about 3 days.
Yeah, awesome, Dan. I mean, because it's, right, I mean, so there's another example for you. So you can write a film. It took Kevin 4 years to write this film, by the way. But let's say you have a script.
Yes.
And you have actors that are willing to make fools of themselves for nothing.
Right.
Then, you know, just your family, your friends, whatever, and everybody you shoot. Then what happens? We got Sarah Fraunfelder over there. Yeah, one of them. And Gabrielle Gould is here. But then, let's say you get a bunch of actors or people who are willing to be actors.
Yes.
But you can shoot a film like that in 2 days.
Yep.
And you can edit it. How long does it take to edit it?
About 3, because it's so scripted.
Right.
I mean, a documentary like The Bees, like I say, going through 4 hours of footage, you're just searching and searching for days to find out what's important.
Right. But here
What
you
will
have a
help the
script to
story.
follow.
Yeah, so it's very easy to put it together.
Easier for you.
It's like follow the numbers, paint by numbers.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
Because he's a filmmaker, a great filmmaker, and, anyway, we're so happy to have you back
Thank you.
on a film. Another film maybe next year without Kevin Flynn, maybe?
Yeah, no comedies after this.
Fantastic. Dan Driscoll. This is Doug Coate. Doug Coate made that fantastic film about coming around 180 degrees.
Thanks. Thank you. Thanks, John. How about John Shea's energy, man?
No, Dan.
This guy, man.
Let's talk about Doug Coate. Okay, so Doug Coate, the first time I saw Doug Coate play in my life, I walked into a party, this guy was playing guitar, and Melissa and I danced all night, right, honey? So Doug Coate is the kind of guy who just like drives things. But so you drove this film, brother. But what inspired you? Because you're a musician, I know you were an actor in New York, but now you're a filmmaker. So how did that evolve?
I guess it started from, when I first got out here and exploring, like, leaving New York, coming here, and then realizing that I was in the midst of a change. That's the title of it, A Life 180. It's truth. Film should be about truth, right?
Yeah.
So I went back and I, started combing through all these hard drives of old footage and realized that there was a narrative there. So tried to create a beginning, a middle, and an end. And yeah, it was kind of it, about coming through and arriving to Nantucket and making this place my home and becoming a dad on Nantucket, which is pretty crazy.
Is Amy here tonight?
Yes, Amy is. My wife is here.
Okay, awesome.
Amy Pallenberg, equally unbelievably talented gardener and a musician.
Doug, we want you to make more films and more music, but keep doing it. Do you have an idea maybe? Are we inspired to do something else maybe?
Yeah, the community television station is amazing. It's an amazing resource. All I could say is, if I leave you with this, if you have an inkling to go out and write and shoot something, go do it. Because it's an amazing resource.
How long did it take you to put all this together?
That was a lot. Documentary's way different. So I would say over 100 hours.
100
I started in July and I finished like a week ago.
Okay.
So it was a
All
lot.
right, fair warning to anybody who wants to do that kind of a story. But let me just say, it was worth it in the end, right? You feel good about it, right?
I do. It was very cathartic. It was, it was a lot of intense stuff going on there.
It's awesome, brother. Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. Really great. Really great. And last but not least, this is John Copenhaver, who did the great film about, is it a boat or is it firewood,
Yeah, thank you.
So you recognize that face, So John, this is your second film too, but this is very different from the first one you did.
It is very different.
So this is more of a comedy, but it's also a sort of a drama and also sort of a tragedy.
It's more of a tragedy, I think. It didn't start out to be a comedy. In fact, it didn't even start out to be a film for the Short Film Festival. I was thinking of, this old house, well, this old boat. Except this boat was older than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And when I got into it, it turned out to be a piece of crap. But I had the film. I'd filmed taking the boat out of my friend's yard and getting in my shop. And I said, now what the hell do I do?
Yeah.
And so it's sort of make lemonade out of lemon. And I ended up shooting it the way it was.
Yeah, we saw it. Yeah, well. Look, I mean, here's the thing. You're a boat builder, so if anybody could have fixed that boat besides Mike Allen, it would be you, right? So that boat was beyond repair. So what we saw, we've never seen a boat taken apart before, dude. I mean, it was
not like that. Anyway.
No, not with a sawzall. So, but listen, there's a perfect example. You have some subject, it starts out one way, you think you're going to restore the boat, and then it turns into something else.
Right.
So let the story take you. Is that it?
That's exactly right. You have to. Sometimes the film drives you.
Right.
And you just have to go with it.
You did, and you did it, brother. And it's the second time in 2 years, right?
Last year I did a film that was quite a bit different. It was a documentary about people coming to Nantucket. And let me just say this one thing, that the first person I interviewed last year, or the first person in my film, was Elizabeth Murray, who died just 2 weeks ago. And it was really special to have some documentation of Elizabeth talking about how she came to Nantucket. In fact, I have quite a bit more film so that I could make something about Elizabeth.
Yeah, good, do that.
And she was a great woman for all of you. Many of you know her.
Yeah. Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
All right, well, look, there we go. All 12 filmmakers, oh my God. And I see Lisa Getter here, and I think we have a winner. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Lisa, and she's going to tell us. Price Waterhouse guys are up there. Okay, yeah, come in the light with me. Let people see this beautiful face. This is the woman who runs Channel 18. All right, here's the award. I'll hold it for you. It's a real award. Kind of cool. Really beautiful. Really beautiful. Okay, so the winner is...
Life 180 by...
Oh, Life 180 by Doug Coate. You give it to him. All right. Awesome. Congratulations, brother. Awesome. Really good. Yeah. Right? Inspiring. Well, you did it, brother. You did it. You want to say anything about making this?
I would just couldn't have done it without Nantucket has been a home now. And that's really what the film was about, because I was kind of lost living in New York City, and Nantucket and its community, which we all know is amazing. And I couldn't have done it without my wife and Nantucket. So this is for all of us, I guess, All of us that have to live on this island and go through summer, fall, and winter. I'm new, but I love this place. So thank you. I appreciate it.
We need guys like you. But Lisa, what else you got going on? So there turns out to be what? You talk about it.
We have a new member coming into the station who has created his first ever short film. He's 11-year-old, and it's the youngest filmmaker we've had at the festival. And there's one thing that he needs to make his new camera kit complete, and that is a selfie stick. So we want to honor him with his new selfie stick. Well done, actually.
So the honorable mention goes to this young genius. Congratulations. So next year, I'm hoping that we're going to see a shot, at least one, with a selfie stick on it, okay? You did a fantastic job. You're 11 years old, and that should be an inspiration for any of us here, okay? That if you got a story to tell and you want a place to tell it, you know how to do it now. Congratulations to all these filmmakers, and thank you so much for coming. We want to tell them one more thing. If you want to see these films again, or if you have friends who couldn't come today, it was sold out. Just remember that you can find these on the website at the Nantucket Short Film Festival. It'll be playing there soon on the website, right, Danny?
NantucketShorts.com.
NantucketShorts.com.
Right, and they will be cut down, and each one will be on the station.
It'll also be on Channel 18, right? So there it is. They'll be playing there all fall and all winter. Enjoy, and thank you.
Thank